What's good, guys? With CIACCONA right around the corner, it's time we begin prepping for everything you need to know regarding this character. So in this video, we're going to talk about her best team, echoes, materials, weapons, and echo substats, so you can be prepared for when this character drops. So without further ado, let's hop right onto the video. Kicking things off with the materials. Right here, you guys can see everything we need. We're going to need the usual 2.2 million shell credits. You're going to need Blazing Bones, Golden Fleece, Orisa's Blooms. You're going to need Tidal Residuum, and Phlogiston. Now, that last one is hard to pronounce, but you have the exact amount of materials you guys are going to need for your CIACCONA to reach her full potential. Now, I know that saying you need all these materials might be a little overwhelming. Well, I'm going to link this page in the description of the video, but you can come right here and check exactly how many materials you need for each one of the levels. And if you scroll down on this page, you will see that you can also check the skill attributes and stat enhancements you will be getting as you level up your skills. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, you will see that they have a calculator, so you know exactly how many resources you need to take them to very specific character levels, their skills to very specific levels. And as you can see right here, we're taking level 7 and level 70 for your character as a base formula because that's the most common place most people will be at. And as you can see right here, it tells you exactly how many things you need. And you can bring this all the way up to level 90, which is max character level currently. And it'll tell you exactly how many materials you need. And that's pretty much it. I wanted to add this here so people have ease of mind and they know exactly how many materials they need depending on the level they are. Moving on over to the weapons, like every single character, her best in slot weapon is going to be her signature weapon. It offers a flat 500 attack with 36% crit rate, and when it comes to the ability, attack is increased by 12%, and inflicting arrow erosion on the target gets them 24% arrow damage bonus for 10 seconds, and hitting targets with arrow erosion reduces their arrow resistance by 10% for 20 seconds, and the effect of the same name cannot be stacked. So it's quite simple. This weapon is going to be extremely good for this character. Very damn useful for what this character offers, which is going to be sub DPS support, mainly support for other characters. So when it comes to her weapon, it's actually pretty damn good, being able to reduce arrow res, being able to inflict arrow erosion, and giving arrow damage bonus is going to be pretty damn good. Now, her second best options are quite simple. Static Mist and The Last Dance. They're pretty much the only two other real good and noticeable options, but they do not really compare that much to what Woodland area actually offers. So if you're looking for the very best CIACCONA you could possibly build, or maybe you're trying to maximize what your Cartethia is going to do, this weapon is actually going to be quite good. And for the budget options, I'm gonna be real, any random foe star that gives her like attack or energy regen is gonna work, because in all reality, you kind of want her weapon or the second best options. But if you don't have any of these weapons by some chance, then yeah, some 4 stars that give her like attack percentage, energy regen, any of those will really work. It just depends on what you're trying to get from your CIACCONA, but yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to her weapons. Moving on over to the team compositions, there's a lot to talk about here. First off, we got the basics. The top picks, and that's quite obvious, is going to be Cartethia. Not only is CIACCONA going to enable Cartethia to deal a lot more damage, she's also going to make it so Cartethia has a lot easier time when it comes to playing and the way she works, because she applies arrow frazzle stacks even when she's off field. On top of that, she is going to reduce the arrow resistance on targets, enabling any arrow DPS, or any arrow character for that matter, to deal more damage, so that's pretty much a given. Moving on over to the second and third picks is where things get interesting. First off, we have Arrow Rover. Arrow Rover is able to convert stacks of any type into arrow erosion, which is really good for Cartethia, which is really good for any character that's going to be paired with CIACCONA. Now, Phoebe is here, and you guys might be asking yourself, why the hell is Phoebe here? It's quite simple. CIACCONA can apply frazzle stacks. So if you're trying to run a main DPS Phoebe, you can go ahead and pair her with CIACCONA, and you're going to be able to run your Phoebe without having to apply frazzle stacks with her. So that's pretty damn good. It might not be the most optimal team comp, but they definitely work together. You can go ahead and run them on a team, and Phoebe can go ahead and be main DPS while you have your CIACCONA applying the frazzle stacks. Gian is quite simple. Like I said, she does buff arrow damage, and she does reduce the arrow resistance on targets, enabling Gian to deal a little bit more damage, which is pretty damn good. This might see Gian come back and deal even more damage than he already does. So if you do happen to have a Gian, you can go ahead and get your CIACCONA for him if that's what you want. Now, why is Zani here? Once again, pretty much the same thing as Phoebe. She can take advantage of the frazzle stacks applied by CIACCONA. Now, for the third picks, it's quite simple. Verena and Shorekeeper go everywhere. They're just, the characters that fit with any team. Jiang Xing, pretty much the same thing as Jian. She takes advantage of the whole arrow buffs and arrow debuffs on the enemies. Pretty damn simple. And Mortefi is going to be here because he can go ahead and buff Jian. And if for some reason you want to run your CIACCONA as a main DPS, Mortefi can also buff her a little bit, but I mean, that's not the ideal. But that's pretty much the characters off the top of my head that I believe are going to be the best pairing with CIACCONA. Moving over to the Echoes, there's not a lot of options when it comes to Echo sets for CIACCONA, but the number one pick is going to be the Gust of Welking set, the 2-piece giving you arrow damage plus 10%, and the 5-piece inflicting arrow erosion upon enemies, increases arrow damage for all resonators in the team by 15%, and for the resonator, triggering this effect by an additional 15% lasting for 20 seconds. So if we add this to her weapon buffs and to her kit buff, this works very well for supporting your entire team and overall is really damn good. But let's just say for some reason you don't want to run this, Moonlit is going to be your second option. It's going to buff your entire team as well. But overall, Gust of Welking is going to be your number one option without a doubt. And here are all the current options for you to farm your Gust of Welking pieces. Now let's talk about the Echo stats. For your main stats, you're going to want to go for a 4 cost with crit rate or crit damage. Really depends on what you're trying to do. Overall, crit rate is going to be a more stable build, whereas crit damage, that's if you really want to deal a little bit of damage with your CIACCONA. For your 3 costs, in my opinion, energy regen and arrow damage are going to be the most important options. If you're leaning more toward damage, you're going to want to go for arrow damage. And if you're leaning more towards being a support with your CIACCONA, energy regen is the given. For your 1 cost, attack percentage, and when we move on over to the substats, energy regen is going to be your number one priority regardless of what it is, because even if you want to run her as a main DPS, she is going to still buff and debuff the enemies and the team quite a bit, so you do want to make sure her energy regen is on point for those very quick rotations. Then you have the obvious crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage. Basic and heavy attack are also going to be pretty damn good for her kit, and overall these are the stats you want to try to get on your Echoes. Now there is one more thing I want to show you guys, and this is how to go about getting extra resources so you can speed up your character's leveling. And the first place we're going to go to is Uncle Wei. If you go over to Uncle Wei, you will see that he sells several materials that are going to help you leveling up your characters, as you can see right here, and this is going to make everything so much easier. It might not be a whole bunch of them, but if you go out of your way, you can go ahead and buy yourself several of these items, and even if they're in the lower rarity, you will still use these and they will help you out a ton. So let's go ahead and buy some of these just to start getting ourselves set up. Our next stop where you can get some materials and make your grind a lot easier is going to be the Shi Fang Pharmacy. If you go over here and you talk to Coco, you will see that she sells a bunch of resources that you're going to need in order to level up your characters. So do be sure to come over here and talk to her in order to make your grind a lot easier. Our next stop is going to be the Point Shop. And over here you can buy a bunch of resources, as you can see, but if you go down to the bottom, you can also buy level up resources, and you can get quite a few of them. 60 of each to be precise. So you want to make sure you go out here and get these as soon as possible, especially because they're so cheap, and we have a whole bunch of these points that we can use in order to get these resources. And last but not least, we're going to go to the Tiger's Maw ore shop and talk to Shilang. And this dude right here is going to sell us some materials as well. Now these materials do not refresh, or at least they haven't refreshed since the start of the game. But as you can see, you can get some nice little resources that are going to help you out leveling up your character. Another place you can come get some materials is the Still Wind Sundries. You're going to come talk to Vida right here. And as you can see, she has a bunch of materials that you're going to be able to use to level up your characters. So do be sure you're getting some of these materials. Now, if you're trying to get yourself some of the materials you need, you can come to the pharmacy store and talk to Rosemary, the NPC that does not look like an NPC. And she's going to give you some of the flowers you need in order to level up your characters. As you can see right here, there's going to be quite a big assortment of materials that you're going to be able to buy from her, and they're going to help you out a ton. So do be sure to go ahead and do that. And that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. Everything you need to know regarding CIACCONA, what she does, how you can pair her up with some really good teams, and everything she brings to the table. I just want to say this before I end the video. Do you need to pull CIACCONA for your Cartethia? I know that's a question everybody's asking. Honestly, you don't. Cartethia is going to work very good on her own, but I will tell you this right now if you even made it this far into the video. CIACCONA will 100% enable your Cartethia to deal more damage, play more comfortably, and overall be much, much better. So if you're trying to have the best Cartethia possible, if you're trying to have the best team rotations possible, and overall ease of play when it comes to this character, you might want to look into getting yourself your CIACCONA. But for now, if you've enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, and stay tuned because we will be going live when she drops to do a bunch of summons. For now, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.